Previously, on Cougan's Custom.
Cougan transformed a gun into a gun with a skull on it, I guess you could say. He added more hair, and full of lips. They covered up the leg bolts, rebuilt the jacket's collar, covered up the arm bolts, did a little more work on the back, and painted the jacket.
There, now you're caught up. Isn't that what you wanted? Alright, episode 6 then.
Said before, Garcia's a slender guy, so that means a thin midsection, so a lot of the bulk of his abs kind of have to go. And I don't mean his abs are going to go away, they're actually going to end up looking more well-defined. They're just going to take up less space, outward. And now for the definition part, I am taking a thinner tool and just really cutting into his abs. They're going to be much more well-defined after this. See? Better ab definition. Now I'm always looking for ways to make action figures look less like obvious action figures. That means covering up bolts and joints and things like that. I took a good part of last week exploring whether or not I could cover up all his leg joints with actual cloth pants. I'll warn you in advance, it did not work out, and I scrapped the cloth thing completely. And if that sort of thing frustrates you, go ahead and skip a few minutes. I immediately noticed that the legs are a bit too bulky once the cloth is placed on top of them, so I'm thinning them out as much as I can with this sandpaper attachment. So I cut another piece of that old shirt off, wrap it around the leg, and start bunching it up so it'll resemble real pants wrinkles. Looks pretty decent actually. This little test inspired me to waste a whole lot of time trying many different variations of this cloth thing. Starting with this one, in which I attempted to glue the pants to his leg with the hot plastic. Ultimately, this was just not looking right to me, so I decided I would sew the pants with thread. At this point, I'm starting to get frustrated. Spent so much time thinking about how I'm going to pull off these cloth pants, and more time actually trying to do it. And that's the sunk cost fallacy, where you keep at something because you've wasted so much time already. You think all that time will have been for nothing if you quit now. Now let's look up synecdoche. I'm really ready to be on camera. You want to know how we got here? Well, alright. Back to the video, I guess. So I sewed up a pair of pants just by placing the seams on the sides of the legs, just where you'd find them in real jeans. I found this leg a little too loose, so I tightened it up a little bit. Then once it's sewn up, I pull the leg off, turn it inside out, and put it back on. And now I'm trying to bunch the pants up in ways that will make aesthetically pleasing pants wrinkles. And you know, from the front I think it looks good, but I flip it to the side and I just see the kind of messy stitches, and it just looks too bulky. So time to cut my losses and just go with the sculpting. I'm just going to use epoxy putty to sculpt the pants wrinkles in detail. But first I'm going to make his legs a little bit thinner. Alright, mix up some epoxy putty. So I'm going to start on the pelvis, first with the belt area. And the back pockets now. And the front pockets. Now the belt loops. The back belt loops. Originally, I was going to make his belt a separate object, but at this point, I decided it's just going to be sculpted into his pants. So here I started cutting texture into the belt. I'm also scoring the area where I'm going to place his belt buckle, which is to say I'm making it really rough so that the buckle will have something to grab onto. I've already built the shape for the belt buckle. Here it is. And it's got a bit of text on it. It says, kill me. So I'm carving that into it right now. I carefully scrape that off and attach it. And here's what the buckle looks like in the game. Now with this sandpaper attachment, I'm completely removing all the little bumps, making the arms completely smooth. I've sped this up by a lot, but I actually have the tool on its lowest setting. Actually, it's a little lower than its lowest setting because I've got the speed switch in kind of an in-between position. Then we're going to add wrinkles to the front part of his jeans. Just making little snake-type shapes and applying them. Applying the seam on the inside of his leg. So I just apply it roughly as one long strip down his leg, then cut out the part where his knee connects, and then just slowly just chop off pieces in order to straighten it out. If you notice his pants getting darker a little bit, it's because I've been every once in a while dipping the sculpting tool into the dirty paint water, which is pretty much black at this point. It obviously doesn't really matter if I get it dirty, so I just don't care because I'm going to paint over it later anyway. But the water is really helpful in smoothing out epoxy putty. And now I'm doing the opposite of what I have been doing on the back of his pants, which is to say I'm cutting into them with the Dremel, making wrinkles and folds in the cloth by taking away part of his legs. Now I'm sanding down the wrinkles on the front of his pants just to make them a little bit less sharp, and also cutting new wrinkles into the top part of his pants. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and look for part 7 soon.